Brad Pitt once imagined a future where, no matter what happened between him and Angelina Jolie, his children would always feel equally connected to both parents. But now, insiders say, that dream has shattered into something far more painful. Earlier this year, Brad was reportedly devastated when his daughter Shiloh, upon turning 18, legally dropped Pitt from her last name, choosing to go solely by Shiloh Jolie. Sources close to the actor say the move wasn't just symbolic. It was a public statement of distance, a clear line drawn between herself and her father. But Shiloh's name change is just the tip of the iceberg. The quiet transformation of Brad Pitt's children, emotionally, physically, and symbolically, has left him feeling erased from their lives. According to multiple reports, Brad's concerns about alienation began years ago, shortly after his highly publicized split from Angelina Jolie in 2016. That divorce, triggered by a volatile incident aboard a private plane involving Brad and his eldest son Maddox, launched a long, bitter custody battle that continues to reverberate today. In the years that followed, friends of Brad noticed subtle but painful shifts. Where once there were enthusiastic hugs and easy laughter, there grew distance, hesitation, and formality. Phone calls became shorter. Visits felt colder. Brad kept telling himself it was just a phase, one insider shares. But deep down, he feared something more permanent was happening. Of all his children, Shiloh's transformation has struck Brad the hardest. Once known for her tomboy style, which Brad celebrated and supported, Shiloh has now embraced a look that mirrors her mother's iconic imagery. She has grown her hair long, often styled in intricate braids reminiscent of Angelina's portrayal of Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. She even recently got her first tattoo, a small Gemini symbol honoring the astrological sign she shares with Angelina. Sources close to Brad suggest that these changes, while outwardly innocent, represent a deeper shift, a deliberate alignment with her mother's identity, and an emotional distancing from her father. One particularly painful moment reportedly came when Shiloh discarded a childhood keepsake that Brad had given her, a symbolic purging of their bond. Brad sees these choices as clear signs, says a friend. He feels like he's being methodically erased from their lives. It's more proof of the trance Angelina has Shiloh and all their kids under, and he feels helpless to stop it. He can't help believing she's styling the children in her image, the source said. Brad has said for years that Angelina's been trash-talking him and pitting the kids against him. It seems she's alienated the whole brood from him. But now he feels it's reached crisis level, they added. Brad Pitt is reportedly concerned that his ex-wife, Angelina Jolie, has alienated their 6 children from him following their contentious divorce battle. The actor is said to be worried about the fractured relationship with his kids, especially as his daughter Shiloh continues to look more and more like Jolie since dropping his last name. Brad Pitt is, however, hopeful for a future reconciliation with his children and is ready to tell them what Angelina Jolie has done to him. According to insiders, Brad believes that Angelina has subtly but systematically alienated their 6 children from him, not through overt hostility, but through years of emotional conditioning, subtle shifts in narrative, loyalty, and affection. One source said bluntly, Brad feels like Angelina put the kids under a trance, that she's reshaping them completely in her own image, leaving no room for Brad in their lives. The fear that he has been portrayed as the villain, in the absence of his ability to directly counter the narrative, has haunted Brad for years. Now, with Shiloh's public disassociation, he feels that his worst fears have materialized. After years of silent suffering, sources say Brad Pitt has finally hit his emotional limit. According to reports, he is now determined to speak openly to his children, starting with Shiloh. No longer willing to bite his tongue, Brad plans to share his side of the story. The full truth of what he says happened between him and Angelina, without any sugarcoating. Brad believes Shiloh is old enough now, one insider reveals. He's ready to tell her everything. The betrayals, the manipulations, the grief he's carried all these years. But this choice is not without risks. There's a real possibility that confronting the past so directly could deepen the rift, rather than heal it. Still, Brad reportedly believes that honesty, no matter how painful, is the only path forward. At first glance, Chateau Miraval might appear to be just another luxurious French estate, a 1,200-acre property in Provence, surrounded by rolling vineyards, olive groves, and a 17th-century chateau. But for Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Miraval is far more than a stunning real estate investment. It has become the ultimate symbol of their crumbled marriage and their lingering resentments. Brad and Angelina purchased Chateau Miraval together in 2008 for approximately $25 million. It was more than just a financial investment. It was their sanctuary, a place where they raised their children, crafted wine, and even held their wedding ceremony in 2014. However, when their marriage fell apart, the ownership of Miraval became a major point of contention. Under their original agreement, neither party was supposed to sell their shares without the other's consent, an understanding that symbolized mutual trust, even amid divorce. But that trust disintegrated in 2021. Angelina Jolie, reportedly frustrated by the ongoing divorce proceedings, sold her 50% stake in Miraval to Tenuta del Mondo, a subsidiary of the Stoli Group, controlled by Russian oligarch Yuri Shefler. Brad Pitt was blindsided. Not only was he allegedly not consulted about the sale, but he now found himself in business with a third party he did not trust, effectively losing control over the future of a property he deeply cherished. Brad Pitt responded with a lawsuit in 2022, claiming that Jolie's sale was both illegal and vindictive. According to Pitt's legal team, Jolie violated their prior agreements by selling her share without his approval, thereby attempting to damage the value of the estate and harm Pitt's ownership. In court documents, Pitt described himself as having, quote, poured money and sweat into transforming Miraval into a highly profitable wine business, while Jolie allegedly contributed little. Pitt's lawsuit seeks to nullify Jolie's sale of her shares, to seek monetary damages for the alleged harm to the business and property, to restore full control of Chateau Miraval to himself. Jolie, in turn, filed counterclaims accusing Pitt of trying to seize control of the property and shut her out of its profits entirely. Her legal team portrays Pitt as manipulative and retaliatory. Thus, what started as a real estate dispute has evolved into a high-stakes legal war, fueled by personal grievances more than commercial logic. For Brad Pitt, Miraval is not just a vineyard. It is the last tangible thread connecting him to the life he once built with Angelina and their children. Chateau Miraval isn't just about money, one source close to the matter explains. It's about control, resentment, and the final unraveling of everything they built together. Miraval symbolizes love, betrayal, loss, and now, the desperate attempt to reclaim something that once meant home. Every legal filing, every court date, every public revelation in this case reopens old wounds that neither Brad nor Angelina seem willing, or perhaps able, to let heal. In the midst of ongoing legal battles, public scrutiny, and personal heartbreak, Brad Pitt has quietly found solace in a surprising place: the arms of jewelry executive Inés de Ramón. Unlike his past relationships, which often played out under the harsh glare of tabloid cameras, Brad and Inés have cultivated a bond largely away from the spotlight, private, grounded, and refreshingly low drama. Sources close to the couple describe their relationship as deeply healing for Brad, offering him a sanctuary from the emotional storms that have dominated his life for nearly a decade. Inés has brought a calm into Brad's life that he hasn't felt in years, says a friend of the actor. It's not about fame, power, or image with her. It's about peace. Despite the evident warmth between them, insiders insist that Brad has no immediate plans to remarry, a decision rooted in the profound wounds left by his split with Angelina Jolie. Even close friends like George Clooney, who reportedly approve of the relationship and see Inés as a, quote, positive influence, have been unable to fully persuade him. He loves Inés deeply, a source reveals, but the idea of tying himself legally to someone again terrifies him. His divorce from Angelina was devastating, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. He's not ready to risk that level of vulnerability again. Brad himself, now 61, is said to have shifted his priorities dramatically, from pursuing red carpet appearances to embracing art and sculpture. From chasing public validation to cultivating quiet, meaningful relationships. From seeking external achievements to nurturing internal peace. He's focusing on things that feed his soul, says an insider. Art, architecture, wine, spirituality, and a small, loyal circle of people he truly trusts. Inés, reportedly in her early 30s, has been described as low-key, smart, and deeply independent, qualities that Brad now finds irresistible. Unlike many of his past partners, Inés is not part of the Hollywood machine. She has her own thriving career in the jewelry business, and insiders say she is uninterested in fame for fame's sake. Their relationship thrives on shared values: privacy, authenticity, mutual support. Inés has reportedly supported Brad quietly through his legal troubles, offering advice, a listening ear, and a steadfast presence when the world seemed to be falling apart. Friends say that Inés has also helped Brad rebuild trust, something he thought he might never do again after feeling betrayed and isolated post-divorce. He doesn't feel judged with Ines, a close friend notes. He feels accepted. Scars, flaws, baggage, and all. While marriage isn't on the table right now, insiders say Brad isn't entirely closed off to the idea, eventually. If there's ever a person who could make him believe in marriage again, it would be Ines, one source reflects. But it would be on his terms, in his time, and only when he's absolutely sure. For now, Brad Pitt seems content to move slowly, savoring the rare peace he's found with Ines. They reportedly split their time between Brad's estate in Los Feliz and short trips abroad, often favoring quiet, secluded destinations far from prying eyes. At an age when many reflect on their legacies, Brad Pitt appears more focused on something simpler, and perhaps more profound: healing the wounds of the past, building a future based on trust, not spectacle, and finally learning that true love, the kind that endures, whispers rather than shouts. Despite everything, the betrayals, the legal battles, the alienation, sources say Brad Pitt has not given up on his children. He still believes that love can find a way. That truth, once spoken clearly, might heal wounds buried beneath years of resentment. That, somehow, the bond between father and child might be stronger than the forces that pulled them apart. Brad's dream is simple, says one longtime friend: to be part of his children's lives again. To be their father, not just a memory. Only time will tell if that dream can survive the scars of the past.